You are tuned in to Kids in the Pit. Hey guys, it's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Today I'm joined by someone who isn't in a band that I'm aware of, but is very much involved in the punk rock music world. Welcome, Rob, from the organization Punk Rock Saves Lives.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
And I actually am in a band, but
you are?
Just a fun band, but yes, a band.
Oh, what's the band?
We're called These Roving Years, and it's me on vocals, Adam from the Faction, Adam Baum on guitar, April Shootman from formerly of Sniper 66 on drums, and Todd Daigle of Egoista on bass.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
There's a 6-song EP out there. We don't get together much, but when we can, we have fun. So
nice. So I first heard of your organization at a Les and Jake show, and then I met you at Four Chord Festival, and then again at Furnace Fest, and you gave me a shirt. Thanks again for that. Can you tell me what Punk Rock Saves Lives is all about, and what the organization does, and what is your role?
Punk Rock Saves Lives is a nonprofit that tours the country with bands and festivals promoting wellness and equality initiatives in the punk rock community. We like to use our community to try to make a small difference in the world. We've been in existence as Punk Rock Saves Lives since November of 2019. And as you know, the world shut down for a little while in that time. But we've grown really well in the 3 years, even with a pandemic. People seem to really get it. Obviously, your shirt, one of the lot, Anti-Flag, and Justin is on our board of directors, one of the lead singers. They have dual lead singing attack. But my role, besides being the co-founder, I'm the outreach manager, I guess, is what we would kind of call it. I try to be on ground at as many festivals and tours that I can be. Can't always be there. Obviously, my wife did about as much touring as I did this year. We were so busy that we're both going in different directions all year. My wife's the director and the other co-founder. And the idea was to take our community, the punk rock and hardcore and thrash, and you can throw everything in there, and everybody at one time was a little bit of punk in their life, you know. But we can tour with anybody. Yeah, we can tour with anybody and try to make a difference. I say wellness and equality initiatives that ranges anywhere from bone marrow registry drives to save lives from cancer, which we do pretty regularly. We distribute harm reduction materials, as in we try to have Narcan for the major festivals. Help if someone's overdosed, you can help bring them back to life. We give out fentanyl test strips because, unfortunately, any kind of drug, including legal stuff, is now being laced with fentanyl. And you might, sadly, you might take a Tylenol someone gave you, and it could cause a opioid overdose, even though you, in no way, shape, form, were doing drugs. Someone snuck it in there. Fentanyl. So we're giving out strips that you can test any drug you're taking to find out if fentanyl is present, and not to do it if that's what happens. And last but not least, we're really big on mental health. We have a mental health group online that's probably bigger than our Facebook following, which is where it is. But that's really a safe space for anybody that considers themselves punk or needs help. They can talk openly, safely, and all the other punks, if you go look at it, will chime in and say, "Hey, I suffer from that too, and here's something that helped me," or "Here's a way I coped with it," or just they're giving encouragement, and it's a really cool thing, and it's really helping a lot of people, even not on the ground. So
that's really good too. So for those interested in helping out, how can they get involved?
You can go to punkrocksaveslives.org, O-R-G, and sign up to be a volunteer. You can, be a volunteer and come help us at festivals and at shows. Two, we're pretty much about 95% run by straight donations right now. We're starting to, file for some grants and stuff. So there's numerous ways you can donate on the website to help us out, and including a one-time donation or a reoccurring donation, all sorts of cool stuff you can buy. We have merch online that you can buy, and the proceeds go directly back into the missions.
Awesome.
We're really, even though we look really big, we really are 2 employees at the moment. And I know because I'm one of them, and we don't take a whole lot of money. So
Yeah.
we're just trying to stay alive and get all the good stuff going. And, eventually we'll make enough money to pay all the bills. But right now we're still growing every day. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, everyone watching, if you can, I guess try to donate.
Come volunteer with us. That's a great way to do it too.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool that you get to travel around and go to so many shows. What is your favorite band to see live?
Woo, that's tough. I have so many. Like I'm sure you do. I've seen you at a lot of shows. Oh, I meant to say I saw the picture today of you with the toilet paper from Less Than Jake. They put it on their Facebook page. So that was today. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And the toilet paper rolls. I really never get, you would think as much as I tour with Anti-Flag, I would get tired, but I don't. Every time they play, I'm singing along. I'm having a blast. I'm watching, Chris too jump in the air off of his amps and not land on Justin somehow. I always think they're going to land on each other, but they never do. They truly are my definition of punk now. I come from a school of loving 7 Seconds, of loving Avail, loving all these like bands that sculpted a lot of what we are now. I'm a huge Chuck Reagan and Hot Water Music fan.
Yeah.
I don't get tired of a lot. I mean, we tour with bands that aren't necessarily the definition of punk, but they take us on tour because they think, and this is, to me, the definition of punk is they think they came from punk and it's an influence to them. And if they're out there doing it themselves, then I think, DIY is as punk as you can get. We were lucky enough to go on tour with Grandson earlier this year.
Nice.
And you would not look at Grandson and think punk, but his fans got it. He got it. He would talk about us every night. We were lucky. Our connection there came through the Oxymorons. And so talk about another amazing band to check out Oxymorons. They were on tour with us with Anti-Flag, and just amazing band. So now that's 2 R's and an S. So it's different than, there was a punk band called Oxymoron way back, but this is a newer band.
So have you been to any other countries with Punk Rock Saves Lives?
Not with Punk Rock Saves Lives yet. We're building the United States movement so far. I have been to Canada with Anti-Flag, but I didn't table. When Anti-Flag tours, they're so supportive of our mission that we worked out a deal where I drive their bandwagon, and they pay me a lesser amount to drive because I'm tabling every night for the charity. So it opens up opportunities, but we aren't licensed in Canada yet. So I just got to enjoy driving for 4 or 5 days and seeing Canada, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've been over with our previous nonprofit that we kind of grew out of and built this. I had been to Wales and to England and to Ireland a few times. Ooh. But mostly right now we're really concentrating on the United States. I think we did, if I'm not mistaken, we had an activation in 46 of the 50 states in 2022.
Oh, nice. So you're almost to all of them in the ones that border the other states, like not Alaska or Hawaii.
Yeah, our truck, we just haven't had a tour go through South Dakota or North Dakota yet.
Yeah.
Maine, and then obviously Alaska and Hawaii. We've been to Hawaii, but we didn't. We actually, my wife and I worked so hard at this that it's hard for us to talk ourselves into some time off.
Yeah.
But a friend, one of our supporters of the charity, owns a house on the Big Island of Hawaii, and gave us our house for a week. And all we had to do was buy a plane ticket to fly down and just relax for a week. And
Oh, that's awesome.
that was really really good in the early part of the festival season when there was a break. We got to go take a break and unwind and have an adventure. So, but I didn't get a chance to set up there. If I would, that would have been one more. But
Yeah.
we'll get all 50. I'm not stressed about it. So.
So do you have any crazy stories from on the road that are appropriate for an 11-year-old?
Um, let's see. I think I have two. One is way before the charity existed. When I was like 21 or 22, I worked at a venue in Savannah, Georgia, that had all sorts of music coming through. And one night, and it's a small club, and it was really cool. But one night we actually had Joan Jett come to play.
Whoa.
And yeah, it was really, really cool. And this was in the early 90s. So 92, 91, 92, 93, somewhere in there. And the stage is really tiny, and the people, there's no barricade or anything. The people are right up against the stage. Well, her monitor got pushed back while she was playing. And so I crawled out on the stage, being the roadie that I was, I crawl out really low to get it and push it back into place and not interfere with the show. And I don't know if you know this, but Joan Jett is really short, and she plays a really, really cool, heavy Gibson Les Paul guitar. And I'm underneath her pushing the monitor back, and she did one of those moments with her guitar, hit me in the back of the head, and I went out cold on stage.
Wait, did she hit
Yep.
you? Did she hit you with the guitar or her fist?
With the guitar. She didn't know I was down there, so it wasn't like on purpose. But and it's one of those I blacked out for like maybe 3 or 4 seconds. That when you get hit and you're like, ah. And by the time I woke up, I crawled off, and she realized what had happened. And I will give her the biggest props in the world. As soon as they were done, she came and got me and was like apologizing, give me a big hug and everything. And I'm like, hey, you're you might be the mother of punk rock, so I'm okay with that. It was an accident. So that one was kind of funny. That was before, and while I've been touring doing things, I was with Flogging Molly in Philadelphia once, probably 3, 4, 5 years ago. And it was my birthday. It fell on my birthday. And Nathan from Flogging Molly kept saying, hey, we're going to go to this barcade behind us, which is where they have all the arcade games, and we'll have some drinks. We'll play some arcade games for your birthday. I was like, oh man, that sounds perfect. And so Nathan and I walked back there after the show, after we packed everything up, and we get there, and Nathan had organized all these people to come. So like half of all the bands and the opening bands were there. And out of nowhere, the Bavona brothers from the Interrupters walked up to me at a bar in Philadelphia, and they were like, happy birthday, Rob. And I was like, what are y'all doing here? And they were like, our tour starts here tomorrow. We were here rehearsing. And I was like, and Nathan called and said, come over. So there's cool. That just shows you our community. People care about each other, and our bands aren't unapproachable. You know what I mean? That's what's so great. I know you spent some time with Sick of It All at Furnace, didn't you? And
yeah, I did.
Was that? They're wonderful humans, man. I could never get enough of watching those bad boys. So
my mom used to sell merch for them, and she went to Europe with them.
Oh, cool. So did she tour with May? Was May on those tours? Pete's wife and Guitar Tech. Oh, she's a wonderful person too.
So. Yeah, and also Pete's daughter Lucy is a good friend of mine.
She's awesome. I got to meet her when we did the 2017 Warped Tour. We were one of the charities on the Warped Tour, and they were on the whole tour, and that was really cool. So
yeah. So what was your first concert, and how old are you? Were you?
Was I? Well, I'll blow it now. I'm 52 right now. I'm old, but I'm not dying.
Yeah.
I'm living young. There we go. Um, there were so many. It's really hard to pinpoint. We went, growing up in a small town like Savannah, Georgia. A lot of bands came through because of the art school, but they would really have a lot of all ages shows, which was fantastic. And I know there's a movement now to make more shows all ages, which I
Yeah.
really am wholeheartedly behind, because I don't know if I'd be the guy I am now had I not gone to shows. Probably mine were more 12 to 16 years old in there going to, there was a skate park in Savannah, um, an indoor skate park called Sugar Mountain.
Oh, that's cool.
And Black Flag played there with Henry Rollins singing, and that might have been 86, maybe. I know I was there for that, but then they would have the big concerts at the Civic Center. And believe it or not, one of my first concerts, big concerts, was Beastie Boys, Fishbone, and Murphy's Law.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah, but throw in there that I was a kid that really liked music. So someone took me to see Sting when he came through with the Dream of the Blue Turtles tour when he first went solo from the Police. And growing up so close to Athens, Georgia, we got a lot of those bands. So uh, REM was already pretty big by the time I was old enough to really pay attention. But they would sneak to Savannah and play in bars, and people wouldn't. They would advertise themselves as something else. And I was lucky
Oh,
to catch one. I was lucky to catch one of those shows once, and it was REM in a place no bigger than, I don't know, what's a good place to compare it to? Like
a gas
a fam-
station?
yeah, yeah, like a gas station, or like a CBGB's wasn't that big.
Oh,
People
wasn't?
think it. People think it was, but it really wasn't. It was a cool, one of the coolest clubs of all time, or legendary clubs of all time, but it wasn't a big venue. So,
Yeah. Okay, so what are a few bands that got you into punk music?
oh, early on would have been probably the Clash and the Alarm. Um, Hearing the Clash when I was, 11, 12, 13 years old, and hearing, Joe Strummer talk about fighting for your rights and standing up for what was right, and
Yeah.
being the ultimate cool guy, even though they said that, Paul Simonon, the bass player, was the coolest person on the earth. I'm a Joe Strummer devotee, so I loved all of that. And then right on the heels of that, there was a young lady that was a few years older than me, and our I in my church, I was in choir in my church growing up. Um, Always wanted to be a singer, and there's a good way to learn, obviously. But my choir director's daughter went off to college, and when she came back from college, she brought me a copy of the Alarm Declaration on vinyl, and said, "Rob, you're really going to dig this." And I was like, because she just knew what the music I was starting to explore and everything, and she gave me that, and it really, opened my eyes to just what, you know I can we can be people can be gatekeepers and stuff all day long, but punk rock is punk rock is an attitude. It's not the music. And
Yeah.
they were probably, you know the acoustic grandson of the Clash, but they were, to me, they were doing it and doing it right, and it gave me hope to want to be in a band and want to do something, and that was what it was really about. And then it grew from there into 7 Seconds and Uniform Choice, and finding a Veil a few years later. And it was there was so much cool music. I was lucky when I went off to college that I ended up a college DJ, and we got to play whatever we wanted. And so we were constantly getting new albums at the radio station, trying them out and seeing what they were all about, and finding so much cool music. And I got to give out a shout, but they're not like it anymore, unfortunately. Just like everybody else, they had to become like a commercial station, but that was WVGS out of Statesboro, Georgia, Georgia Southern University. So they were that was an ultimate music growing time. And there was one rock club in town and I ended up working door and sound at that club too. So talk about learning the Atlanta, Athens, Savannah, Birmingham tour circuit, the Southern tour circuit where all these bands were starting to really explode. And that was so cool, seeing, and that's the circuit that Avail came out of, out of Richmond. And so much there was so cool, I think I saw you stage dive during Avail, did I not?
No, I didn't. I don't remember stage diving. I don't think I stage dove for Avail.
I thought you did, but I might be wrong. So
I did for Sick of It All and Sick of It All at Furnace Fest and Speak to Your Guns at Furnace Fest. I don't know.
the stick to your guns. There's a good band.
Yeah,
They're
I think
great.
I did for Strike Anywhere too.
They're that was so good to see them back together, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
actually doing some music, they rocked. There's
Yeah.
a picture during a veil. Someone took a picture of the side of the stage where I was standing and texted it to me in the middle of the show. And it's me and the lead singer from Strike Anywhere and Little Joe from I've just gone brain dumb. The Joey Capes band, Lagwagon. We're standing there all watching Avail, and we're all just grinning, and we're just all happy, and that's what music's supposed to do for you,
I hope to have the singer of Strike Anywhere on here at some point, Thomas.
Yeah, Tom, he's a nice guy, so I bet he'd say yes if we could.
Yeah, maybe.
If I don't have any direct connection to him, but I am asking the guys an anti-flag for you, so I'm working on that.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so now for some non-music related questions. So where did you grow up and do you still live there?
No, I grew up in Savannah, Georgia. I was born in Nashville, Tennessee. I moved to Atlanta with my mom when I was 5 or 6 years old, and then my mom remarried and we moved to Savannah when I was in 6th grade. But in after college in 1993, I moved back to Nashville. My biological dad lived there and wanted to make up all the time he missed with me, and gave me an opportunity to move there and try to do what I wanted to do, which was get in the music business. And Nashville, you might think country music, but Nashville's the music city. They call it Music City for a reason, because everybody works out of Nashville. So there's, and almost you want to know a really crazy point, almost every tour bus in America comes from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, my mom used to be I think a promoter from Nashville.
Yeah, I knew when we were talking about when I was coming on, she has the same 615 area code that I have. So
yeah,
but in 2011, I packed up to come to work for another nonprofit called Love, Hope, Strength. They were based in Denver, and they had me come to Denver, and I've been in Denver since. So a long way,
nice.
a long way from where I grew up, but pretty awesome area to live though. So
I went to Denver earlier this year to see Hot Water Music and Modern Life is War.
Ah, that's awesome. I was out of town for that, and I was kicking myself because missing Hot Water Music is tough,
Yeah, because they're so good.
Yeah, they really are, and they had the double attack of having Chris Cresswell in there with them for that time. Awesome. That's what a lineup, So
I saw them 8 or 9 times this year. I can't remember if it was 8 or 9.
So are you telling me Hot Water Music might be your favorite band?
Might, definitely.
Good answer. I like that.
Yeah, they are like for sure my favorite band because
excellent.
Like,
and have you found out what the rest of us have found out? Chuck Reagan is the nicest person in music.
Yeah, he's really cool.
He really is just a genuinely good guy.
And Chris Cresswell is really cool.
I've only had limited talks with him, and he always seems cool to me. So I like that. It kind of, with what I do with music and trying to help people through our music, a lot of times, even if I don't like a band, if their members are good humans, I like them even more, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
um, I want people to be good humans as much as they are good musicians, and I
Yeah.
haven't had many let me down, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like Chuck Reagan, Chris Cresswell, um, like everyone in Hot Water Music, it seems, because I've met all of them.
Yep. And I get to see their drummer New Year's night, New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So their Bouncing Souls are playing here, and he plays in both bands of all things.
Yeah. George is really nice. Like, and it's cool that he's in Hot Water Music and Bouncing Souls.
Yep. It's crazy because I've been at a festival where they both played,
Yeah.
and I kept joking. Yeah, I kept joking that his arms were going to fall off.
Yeah. I saw them I saw Bouncing Souls and Hot Water in like Asbury Park, New Jersey. It was like a five, I don't know, it was like a 4 or 5 band show. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Also,
And he,
I saw Madball and Unearth on like a 4-day tour. My mom sold merch, so I came. And Madball and Unearth, they actually share a drummer. And he played every single night, and I kind of felt bad for him.
yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, he's
Um,
so hard.
Chris, if you know Authority Zero at all, Chris Daly is an amazing, amazing drummer, and he played for a while. He was in Authority Zero, Pulley, and um, the Implants,
Yeah.
and he would fill in for other bands too. And I used to joke I was going to try to book them all just so I could see if Daly's arms would fall off.
Yeah.
I
So
get you all in one night. One night.
yep. So what is your favorite kind of food?
I'm gonna go with macaroni and cheese. Still my
Good
favorite.
one.
Yep. Still my favorite food in the world, and I'll try it anyway. Um, I am unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, with health, I'm allergic to pork. Um,
Oh.
so I have to be real careful because now everybody in the world wants to put bacon in everything, but especially macaroni and cheese. Every time I go somewhere, I'm like, does this have bacon in it? And they're like, oh yeah, we sprinkle bacon in it. Like, oh man, you know, but I like to try mac and cheese everywhere in the world. So,
So you could be easily Muslim.
um, if, yeah, I,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm a religious person. I think I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not a
Yeah.
religious person. So anything, yeah, it would be not eating pork, is, it also helps, I can get a lot of really good other food and meat and stuff like that, especially at Jewish delis, which is
Oh,
really cool because um there's typically no pork in kosher diet, so
yeah.
it helps me too, which is really cool, and I love Jewish food, so that's um but a second to macaroni and cheese is I got to go with Greek. I love Greek food altogether, so
Yeah.
any
Also,
any gyros and hummus, and
yeah.
so
But the thing with pork is like gelatin is in so much. Like it's in like Pop Tarts, it's in like uh I don't know what else, but it's in a lot of like
oh
food.
yeah, it's a little more, depending on how they do it, that typically is cow hoof that makes
Oh,
gelatin. Um, but there might be some. Luckily, I haven't found that. I don't eat a lot of. I'm not the guy out going and eating Jello. It's not my thing. But um, when I luckily when I say I'm allergic to, it's not pleasant. But if I do get some pork, I get very kind of violently stomach ill. If that makes sense. It's
yeah.
not like it'll kill me, but it's not pleasant. But as a whole, I stay pretty easily on the line, and I tour with Anti-Flag a lot, so I try a lot of vegan food too.
Oh, are
And
they vegan?
they Chris too is for sure. Justin is. Pat definitely, and they're all 4 vegan. They might be, one might be vegetarian. I might be wrong there, but
Oh,
when I'm with them, they know, when I go out with them on tour, they know the rad place in every town to get some cool vegetarian vegan food.
that's cool.
And so I get to go try it, and I'm not against anybody's diet. I like
Yeah.
food. I want to, you know, so
I like food. Food tastes good. I like food. Food tastes good.
yeah, yes. I live about an hour from those guys, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So
Wait. So what state do you live in?
Colorado.
Oh,
Yep,
I know most of them live in Colorado.
yep, they live in, well, three of them, no, two of them live in
Yeah.
Fort Collins.
I
So
know Milo lives here in Delaware.
yeah, and Stefan lives in Tulsa,
Wait, where's
Oklahoma.
that? Oh,
Oklahoma.
oh.
So,
Yeah, so if you could tell your 11-year-old self anything at all, what would you tell him?
hold on, you know, you're gonna get picked on for what you like. You're gonna have to get in a fight because here and there, because there are bad, bad juju scenes that go on in the punk rock world. There are the bad skinheads. There are the
Yeah,
and that's not we could have an hour-long talk about what a skinhead is, but the boneheads and the racist skinheads are completely different. So don't use skinhead as a bad term. The real skinheads are incredible people that are working class, black, white, Jamaican, anything. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's all about a culture, not about theft and being a racist jerk. Um,
yeah.
so I would tell them to watch out for that. I had to, growing up in the South Georgia scene in the 80s and 90s, there was a big skinhead, the bad skinhead scene, and we
Uh,
had to. I don't like violence, but
oh
I
yeah,
had to, I had to fight at times, unfortunately.
yeah,
Um, so be ready for that. Um, be ready to just keep influencing people. And the bottom line, it's going to sound kind of crazy, but if you went back and told myself then that I would be, friends with or work with or be contemporaries with all of my favorite punk rock musicians, I would have started laughing. And now, I get to go to all of these incredible concerts and festivals, and everybody's happy to see us, and they want to help the charity, and they want to do, what can we do? Do you need something to auction off? Can we come hang out at the booth?
that's
And
so cool.
I I wouldn't have believed that. You know what I mean? I would have been like, oh, you're kidding. Yeah.
Yeah,
But hang on, you're gonna make this, you're gonna use your love of this music to make a difference in this world.
yeah. So would you like to add anything before we wrap this up?
Oh man, I just wanted to thank you for having me. It's so awesome. I think like I was talking about with the all ages shows and fighting to get those back, punk rock grows every day because of kids like you. You
Yeah,
know, it opens our eyes. I don't know, I know your mom's been involved for a long time, so you've seen a lot of cool stuff, but it's only going to get cooler. You know what I mean? Look at this year alone. We talked about those major music festivals and having a blast,
yeah,
um, and watching, spread the word. Get more kids in the pit. You know what I mean? And
yep,
don't let anybody tell you you're not supposed to be there. So
yep. I know.
it's we really should be there. And I guess in closing though is if you see Punk Rock Saves Lives at a festival, come over and say hello. We'd love to meet you. Um, if you can't find us at a festival or something, send us an email at punkrocksaveslives.org. Um, get involved. We're starting our next movement is to build chapters in some different cities. We got an awesome couple that's doing the paving the way and trying. The first chapter will be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin,
Oh,
and
nice.
they're an incredible couple, and they really want to do this when they're not working. And that's what's really cool is usually we're at concerts at night. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they can go do some good stuff and help make somebody's life a little better every day. And that's the bottom line. It's not a bad thing to care about people. It's
yeah,
not. Punk had its different ways. People think of punk as nihilism. People think of punk as destructive and and that's so far from what my punk is. My punk was Joe Strummer. My punk was the Stern Brothers. Kevin Seconds, where we were against racism, we were against sexism. Anti-flag is the next flag bearer of this whole situation, where no homophobia, what's, I don't know all the words, no Islamophobia, no, we're humans, and we got to work on this together. And punk is a great medium to do that.
Yeah. Well, thanks to Rob for joining me today, and thanks to all of you for watching and listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Until next week, bye.
One love.